All right, guys, let's be honest. The old rules of podcasting are officially broken. The strategies that built massive shows 5 years ago, those are the exact same strategies causing creators to fail in 2026. A lot of podcasts are being made right now, but they're structured like it's still 2017. And that's precisely why they aren't growing. If you're tired of pouring hours into episodes that feel like they just disappear into the void, if you're struggling to stand out in the sea of sameness that feel like your growth has completely flatlined, you're just not imagining it. The ground has shifted underneath us. But the good news is there's a new playbook. The even better news, this playbook is simpler, more authentic, and way more effective than the old one. So in this video, we're going to break down the innovative formats and the new rules that are actually capturing listener attention and guaranteeing your show gets noticed. Welcome to this week's episode of From Mic to Market, where we help businesses and podcasters build their podcast from the ground up. So let's talk about the future of podcasting and the new innovative formats. So why is what worked suddenly bombing? The heart of the problem is there's too many podcasters out there and it's no longer a niche hobby. The podcast universe has exploded to nearly 4.7 million shows. But here's the real story. Only a tiny fraction of those, maybe around 400,000, have published an episode in the last few months. The competition for listeners' time and attention is fiercer than ever. Audiences are more selective. They judge quicker, they skip faster, and they only commit their precious time when something feels like it was intentionally made just for them. The old model of two people, unstructured, hour-long chats, and we'll publish when we feel like it schedule just gets lost in all the noise. This saturation has created a massive discovery problem. Relying on podcast app directories alone is like whispering in a hurricane. This is where the old playbook officially breaks. Simply having great content is no longer enough. So, what's the new foundation? The winning formats of 2026 all share three things. They are intentional, they are useful, and they are deeply human. When I say intentional, I mean the show has a clear structure and a point. Useful, meaning it respects the listener's time and delivers real value. And human, meaning it builds genuine connection, a trait that becomes more valuable every day as AI-generated content gets more common. So first and foremost, you need to stop thinking of yourself as just a podcaster and start thinking of yourself as a producer of a show. This mental shift forces you to accept that podcasting is no longer an audio-only game. Trust me, if it was, I would still be behind a microphone, not doing video. It is a multi-platform content engine, and video is the fuel. YouTube has become a dominant platform for podcast discovery, with about a third of weekly US podcast listeners saying they use it the most. This isn't a niche trend. It's mainstream behavior. While over half of Americans listen to podcasts monthly, a massive chunk of those listeners now expect to watch the shows they love. Here's why building a show with a video-first mindset is so powerful. First, video creates a level of connection audio alone can't quite hit. Seeing facial expressions, body language, and the recording space deepens that bond between host and listener. Second, and this is crucial for growth, video is modular. It is designed to be shared. A single video episode can be chopped into dozens of powerful micro assets. When I say micro assets, I mean 30-second vertical clips for TikTok and Instagram Reels, which drives huge discovery. 2 to 5 minute clips for LinkedIn and YouTube Shorts. Quote cards, audiograms for your social media. Full video episodes on YouTube, which has a far more advanced search and recommendation algorithm than any audio-only app. This isn't about ditching audio. Trust me, I'm not ditching audio. It's about making audio the output of a bigger, smarter content process. A show like Hot Ones is a master class in this. The video format, watching celebrities suffer through spicy wings, is the main event. It then creates viral clips that drive millions of people to the audio version. And you don't need a Hollywood budget. A couple of good lights, a decent camera, even your smartphone camera, and a clean background are more than enough to start. The key is to record video first, then pull pristine audio for your podcast feed. This workflow is way more efficient and unlocks exponential growth. The second new rule sounds a little backwards, but stick with me on this. Not every podcast needs to go on forever. In fact, some of the most powerful and fastest growing formats in 2026 are finite, short series, and limited run shows. Here's the psychology behind why this works well. In a world of infinite choices, commitment's a huge risk. An ongoing show with hundreds of episodes can feel like a mountain to a new listener. But a 6-episode series on a very specific topic, that feels manageable. It's a clear, low-risk investment of their time. This finite structure does a few brilliant things. It screams intentionality. You're telling the audience you have a specific, valuable story to tell or problem to solve, and you structured it perfectly. It creates scarcity and urgency, which dramatically boosts listen-through rates. A listener who binges a whole series is far more likely to become a die-hard fan than somebody who dips into a random episode of an endless show. For creators, this format is a game changer. It lowers the production burden, making it easier to keep high quality and avoid burnout. You can create seasons which focus on different themes, letting you take breaks and plan content like a pro. It's also so much easier to market. A call to action like binge our complete 6-part series on scaling your business is incredibly compelling. Finally, sponsors love this model. The finite campaign with a predictable number of episodes is much easier to sell than an open-ended deal. Stop thinking in endless weekly episodes and start thinking in focused, high-impact seasons. The third new rule is become the architect of your content, not just a participant. The era of aimless rambling conversations is over. The shows that are winning in 2026 are deliberately structured, even when they feel conversational. This doesn't mean your show has to have a rigid script. It just means every episode needs a clear direction, a theme, or a central question it's trying to answer. This is especially true for interview shows. The best interview podcasts today aren't about celebrity access. They're about insight extraction. The host job is to skillfully guide an expert to share an actionable framework, powerful stories, and practical lessons the audience can actually use. Another powerful format that's taking off is the narrative-driven expert podcast. Instead of just listening to facts, these shows weave professional insights into a personal story. This humanizes the expertise and makes complex information sticky and relatable. We remember stories, not data points. In an age of increasing AI, authority without relatability just feels cold. Finally, one of the easiest ways to architect your content is to let your audience do it for you. Audience-driven Q&A formats where you build entire episodes around listener questions are seeing huge engagements. This creates an amazing feedback loop. It guarantees your content is relevant. You literally solve your listeners' biggest problems, and it makes your audience feel seen and valued, turning passive listeners into a true community. Now, you don't have to pick just one of these rules. The most successful and resilient shows of 2026 are hybrids, layering these formats together to create something totally unique and powerful. Imagine a show that is a video-first hybrid, given that visual pop and a ton of social media fuel, structured as a short series, making it binge-worthy and highly focused, that uses interview-led authority format to pull deep insights from guests, and wraps up each season with an audience-driven Q&A episode to build that community bond. This is the new playbook in action. Every choice is intentional, every choice serves the audience, and every choice is designed for growth in today's media world. The key is to stop thinking of your podcast as a single audio file and start seeing it as the central hub of a content brand that lives everywhere. Your podcast becomes the intellectual asset, the proof of how you think, and the engine of your entire content strategy. So, looking at this new playbook, which one of these formats resonates with you most? Are you drawn to the discoverability of a video-first show, the focus of a short series, or the community building of an audience-driven format? Let me know. I would love to help you out with that. Send a comment. I read every single one of them, or feel free to drop me an email at info@simplypodcasting.io. I am genuinely curious to see how you're thinking about applying these new rules. So let's just recap. Old rules are broken because audiences have changed. To win in 2026 and beyond, your show needs to be intentional, useful, and human. You get there by building a show, not just a podcast, embracing finite formats, and architecting your conversations for maximum value. The best part is, this new landscape is more open than ever for independent creators who are willing to be strategic. You don't need a massive budget or a celebrity guest with you. You just need a clear plan and a commitment to serving your audience. Your voice matters. Your perspective is unique. Now, go create something that stands out, and don't forget to send me a link on it, okay? This has been From Mic to Market. We'll see you soon.